today we just want to discuss the opposition parties in Zimbabwe. And my standing right now is our opposition party has actually become a problem and has actually become part of the problem actually, and it has become an advantage for the ruling party to excel, and the ruling party has become even much stronger. So we are in a checkmate. That is the simplest way to put it, right? If you are in a checkmate, what you can do is to restart the game and say, you know what, you have beaten me here. Can we restart the game and start all over again, and let's start the game again. So welcome to the Afro Hot Mic. As we promised, we'll be dropping a lot of podcasts as we go to discuss issues that are actually affect us as Africans, as youth Africans actually in Africa. Yeah, that is the most interesting thing. So today, I just want to discuss the issue of the opposition party in Zimbabwe. And unfortunately, I do not have anybody here to discuss that with me. So I'm going to be rambling up and just saying things. And I want you guys in the comment box, comment and tell me your views, because what I'm going to be sharing today is just based on what I think the opposition party has become in Zimbabwe and what we should do as the youth in Zimbabwe to take back the country from both the opposition party and the ruling party, right? So we have an opposition party that has actually become defunct actually, and it doesn't work anymore, because when you look at our opposition party in Zimbabwe, it has actually become part of the problem rather than the solution. We had a stronger opposition party back, I think, in 2013 when Morgan Tsvangirai was still alive. But that opposition party was actually dismantled by an anonymous figure called Baba Jukwa. We'll talk about Baba Jukwa later, but this is the background information that I'm sharing with you. What was opposition party and where they draw their power from, right? So according to me, when I'm 36 years old now, and I know struggle, and I've seen struggle, and I think the last time I see Zimbabwe doing things, I was in grade 7. That was 1997, and that time that was when the Zimbabwean dollar went from zero to hero. Actually from hero to zero in one day, which we called the Black Friday. Actually, we still had a working labor union that was the ZCTU. I think most people would agree with me that, and Morgan Tsvangirai was the president of that union. And as the economy started to go south, this was very new to us, guys, and the only option was to go to the trade union, because the only communication that the workers had between the workers and the government was the trade union, and ZCTU was the medium. And for people to air their views and also their challenges, they had to go to the ZCTU. So that's when Morgan Tsvangirai actually drew his power from, right? Because he had a huge following and a backing from that. That's when they formed the MDC, literally through the ZCTU, literally. You know what? I want to say this. Most people have to understand. And as I do my podcast, I'm not even ZANU PF at all. Neither am I MDC-T, MDC Alliance, MDC 99, MDC in whatever opposition party you might think of. Maybe I'll have to start my own opposition party that actually makes sense, because what we have right now in Zimbabwe is actually a stalemate in terms of politics, because we are not going anywhere. The opposition has become part of the problem, with this ruling party doing whatever it does, and the ruling party has actually become more stronger as we form these opposition parties. I think people will remember that when Simba Makone became a presidential candidate, then it was a way for to split the votes, and it actually worked, Because if it was Robert Mugabe and Morgan Tsvangirai they had to add, I think Morgan Tsvangirai would have won the election. Actually, he won the election, but he couldn't get the by a popular vote, which was 51% and plus one vote, according to the constitution. And this is another thing that we need to discuss in our podcast as the Afro Hot Mic, the constitution. What the constitution does and what is the disadvantage of the constitution to us, because most of the things that are in the constitution are kind of like adopted from the colonialists and the oppressors. For example, cattle wrestling. And you see, it's unfair for someone to get like 20 years for stealing a cattle, and that is adopted from the oppressors. But that will be another topic for another day. But to the youth of Zimbabwe and as the people of Zimbabwe, actually, we need to realize that the opposition party has become the part of the problem, and they are in a checkmate. And what we need to do is to actually restart the game. And how we restart the game is, it doesn't matter how long it's going to take, but we have to restart the game, because we are not going anywhere with this opposition party. Because look at what is happening with MDC-T and the MDC alliance. We saw Nelson Chamisa, who was the people's favorite, being removed from the power of MDC and being chased away from the headquarters of MDC. And the only hope that we have in this guy right now is for him to form his own political party that will restart the game. And his own political party, to be very frank with you guys, it doesn't have to do with anything to do with the name MDC. It has to be a completely new name. And as long as the opposition party in Zimbabwe, this is my thinking and this is my own opinion, it doesn't have to be but according to myself, is as long as our opposition party does not match the intelligence think tank department that ZANU-PF has got, we are not going anywhere, because we have seen that with Baba Jukwa to say, and Baba Jukwa was a demonstration of intelligent prowess that ZANU-PF demonstrated. And what ZANU-PF did there, I can tell you guys, we can argue all day, we can go to the moon and back, but I can tell you that if you put these guys into the American elections, I tell you they will win the elections free and fair. With that prowess of intelligence, how can we have an opposition party that goes to an election basing their intelligence on an anonymous figure? Come on, guys, right? And this is, I thought in my life that the ruling party in Zimbabwe actually rigs elections, but I realized that the ruling party in Zimbabwe does not even need to rig an election. It does not even rig an election, because they have got an advantage when it comes to intelligence, and they have got think tanks who think to create something like Baba Jukwa. That is a intelligence prowess that we can never take away from ZANU-PF. And as long as I'm not ZANU-PF, and as long as anybody is not ZANU-PF, and as long as we hate ZANU-PF for whatever they're doing, but we have to give them that credit. That is prowess. That is a mastermind. That is a masterpiece. According to me, it's a masterpiece, And our opposition party, right? The MDC-T and the alliance, this is the main focus today. The MDC-T, the alliance, how the alliance was formed from the MDC-T, and it adopted the same constitution, and the same constitution was the same that was used against Chamisa, And most people have to realize this thing. And I've been studying law for some time, and I can consider myself as a law scholar right now, because MDC, right, is a separate legal entity, right? It stands on its own. It follows the constitution that was enacted by the members, right? So whatever feelings that Morgan Tsvangirai had on his deathbed, right? They don't count. They don't change anything. If he had appointed Chamisa as his successor on a deathbed, that is not what the MDC stood for. It was him, Mugen Changirai. It was a personal thing. The constitution of the MDC requires someone to go through the Congress and be elected to be the president. And this is very simple. And for that issue to go to the highest court of our land, the Supreme Court, I mean, it doesn't make sense. And most people have to understand that, to come up with solutions, you have to put away all the feelings, right? This is how it works. You put up all your feelings apart, even if you like the guy so much, but we have to understand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 about the guy and understand his weaknesses and how his weaknesses have costed our future. Because right now we are in a checkmate because of his actions. What he did to Kupe was actually wrong, and we should come together and condemn that. And if we accept that, we can actually support him and say, you know what, accept what you did, right? That's all right. Go to the people, say, what I did to her, it was wrong, And this is the 20th century, man. We don't have that feeling of people trying to undermine women. I don't believe in people who undermine women. And actually, for myself, it's another topic for another day on the Afro Hot Mic, and how we view women in Africa and what religion has done to us so that we treat women that way. Because I think the root cause analysis for us, the root cause analysis why we treat women that way, it has to do with religion, because religion has got scriptures which says women have to be under men. And those are the things that we need to discuss and analyze. That, guys, are these scriptures correct, or they were meant to discriminate other people, like women? For example, for Nelson Chamisa himself, a person who's a staunch churchgoer, and he has got so much belief in religion, and if he behaves in a way that undermines women, we have to discuss those issues, like, okay, what drives him to think that way against women? Those are the things that we have to discuss another day on the Afro Hot Mic, right? Right. So our opposition party in Zimbabwe, we need to reset it. Like I said earlier, for us to trust Nelson Chamisa is the people's messiah. Yeah, well, let's put him as a messiah, right? We don't want to believe that the messiah is still to come, right? We have to believe that the messiah is there, but he needs direction. He needs people who actually tell him what to do. But we do not want to come to that conclusion that, you know what, I think the Messiah will come. And for people like me, I think I am most likely inclined to think that, you know what, actually the Messiah is to come. The way that the opposition party behaves in Zimbabwe, and I've got so many questions. One of the major questions that I have for the opposition party is, what is it in the name MDC? Right. If you believe that people will follow you and people will actually be with you, why can't you just form your own political party with your own name? Then we judge you based on that. Why do you have to drag us to that point whereby we split the vote every year? I mean, I want to ask you guys, audience, right? When was the last time we actually had an election without a divided opposition party? I don't remember that time. I think it was back in 2000. Right. I think we had the 99, we had the N, we had the T, and we had the one that was led by Tambara, that was the MDC-M, and now we have the Alliance. You know, this is just ridiculous when you really think of it, right? And these splits have actually make the ruling party more powerful, because I can tell you for a fact that we have lost a lot of elections. We have lost the opportunity to control the parliament because these guys were just divided. There was one case in Bulawayo there when Washman Nuwe had his own MDC and MDC-T had their own, and MDC-T had about 1,200 votes, and Bushman had about 500 votes, and the ZANU-PF had 1,300. Come on, if you had 1,200 plus 500, 1,700, they would have taken that seat, and it's not the only seat. There are about 18 seats to 20 seats, and that could have gotten them to two-thirds majority into parliament, And guys, can't we actually see that this opposition party is actually a problem now to us? We defeated ZANU-PF fair and square. And you know what? Like I said, ZANU-PF does not rig an election. They are strategists, right? So splitting the MDC into fractions and factions of fractions is one of their strategies. And they infiltrate the MDC all the way because they have got an intelligent department that has got prowess in what they do. They are just good at what they do. MDC, I don't know if they actually have that department with them that actually strategize things, that actually discuss strategies. Maybe just a couple of them, maybe 2-3 guys discussing strategies and how they're going to do the elections. I don't think they have. They go to the election with sentiments of the suffering of the people. Come on, what the... Okay, sorry, I won't use that word, but it doesn't make sense to go to an election with the sentiments and carrying the plight and the heavy and the burden of the people, of what people are suffering. It's just like going to a court and say to the judge, you know what, I'm not guilty. So you have to defend yourself. You have to bring facts to the table. You have to show the court that you didn't do this thing. It's not common sense. You have to prove with facts. So we can't have an opposition party that goes to an election with those things. So as the youth of... I'm rounding up my podcast. As the youth of Zimbabwe, I think it is very important that we come together, right? We engage the opposition party and make them see that this is the time to reset the game. Because we are in a checkmate. We are not going anywhere. 2023 is just a waste of time. Especially if we do have to go to that election with an MDC-T and MDC alliance against ZANU-PF. It's just a total waste of time, and we are wasting years to do that. So we need someone who we would try to do that. But the problem is the MDC has captured the minds of the people, and a lot of people still believe in that. In the MDC to bring sanity to this mayhem that we are right now. But that's when we, the youth of Zimbabwe, have to come in and engage the MDC and try to, I don't know if the MDC or Chamisa or whatever, Kupe, whatever, or anyone in leadership who's able to take us to the promised land, because our ruling party has even become much stronger than it was in 2013 and even in the last election. They will win this election, no doubt about it. If we are going to have to go to this election with MDC-T and MDC alliance, they will win the election. That is a fact. In fact, it's not a threat, actually. It's a promise. They will actually win the election, because all the way we're going to be splitting votes between MDC-T and MDC alliance, and we've been doing this for the last, I don't know how many elections, and only a fool, according to me, only a fool does the same thing and expect different results. I learned that from my boss, actually, but when he was telling me that, and I learned it, and I realized that this is actually true. You can't be doing the same thing over and over again and you expect different results. Only a fool does that. Only a fool does that, and MDC has been doing it. So I call upon all the youth in Zimbabwe. Let's unite with or without our opposition party, because we have to reset the game. We are in a checkmate here, and we are not going anywhere. So like the Afro Hot Mic. We'll be posting a lot of podcasts there. This is 20 minutes there. But thank you very much, guys.